The following is a paid political announcement.
Gracious and ever-loving Father, we gather this evening with gratitude for the opportunity to come together in this our beautiful electoral district of Belle and Glamorgan. Father, we give thanks for the diversity of voices, experiences, and perspectives present here, and for the shared purpose that brings us together in this space. We especially thank you for our area representative, Dr. Brebnor, who has led this district with heart and purpose. We continue to lift her in all our leaders who are entrusted with responsibility and care for this island of Tobago up to you this evening. Continue to grant them wisdom to make thoughtful decisions, integrity to act with honesty, and courage to do what is right even when it is difficult. May they continue to lead with humility, compassion, and love. Strengthen them in times of challenge, guide them in times of uncertainty, and remind them always of the people they serve. May their leadership continue to foster unity, peace, and hope throughout our community and the island of Tobago. Father, we invite your presence here with us in this meeting, and hope throughout our community and the island of Tobago. Father, we invite your presence here with us in this meeting. Guide its proceedings and the footsteps of those who are on their way. May we have a safe and successful evening and resounding victory at the polls on January 12th. These and other mercies we ask in your name. Amen.
TPP people! When is the election again? I can't hear ya. What date? All right. Good night, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you where you are. You are in Pembroke, between the two bars. And we are here to educate you in preparation for the election coming on the 12th of January 2026. Now, I don't want you to miss the point. The reason for this gathering is not tomorrow, it's for next week, Monday. I want you to remember that. And I want to do a little roll call. Now, there are some people who are stalwarts in this area for the TPP. And one of them is Sister Sharon Thomas. Anybody see she around here? All right. Jaro. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in TPP tongue. So welcome.
You respect that.
And
respect that.
you know, you get some of them who run away and gone away, and I'm going to tell you about them as we go along, right? We are going to waste no time now, right? I want to bring on our first speaker. A teacher by profession. A man who entered politics and has excelled beyond imagination and expectation. He's from Delaford, right on the main road, and he has given his life in service. Ladies and gentlemen, TPP people, help me as I welcome to the lectern, Mr. The next representative for Roxborough, Argyle, the teacher, Orlando. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Orlando Kerr.
Time to move Benzie's up steady, TPP in control. Tension linking, we defending the goal. Louis dog all in mind and the future. De la part, they go put the land on the structure. No talk, no drag, no run around plan. We want somebody who deliver, a soldier who stand. Rain or sun, come or rough weather.
Good night, Pembroke. Good night, Glamorgan. Good night, Goodwood. Good night to everyone gathered here. Let me say good night to our Chief Secretary, Honorable Farley, Augustine, and our political leader, and also our deputy political leaders, and our chairman and our party executive, and also you great supporters who have shown that you are behind us all the way. Let me hear those people who I'm seen at every single meeting across the island. Some of you have more energy than me. And let me quickly say to you, Happy New Year. Because this is the first time I'm addressing you for the New Year. I wish you all the best. But you can give yourself a New Year's present by making sure that on January 12th, you go to the polls and vote for the TPP so that we can continue the good work that we have started in Tobago.
We respect that.
They call it silly season. And I think that the person who came up with that term knew exactly what they were talking about. Because all sorts of things have been said in the space. And I think that happened after we launched our blueprint on the 1st of December. When we launched our blueprint on the 1st of December, January, thank you very much, I'm getting long in the age. And they listened to the ideas that came from this platform. As what people say, they turn total bay. They know what to do. So they have been on platforms talking all sorts of nonsense. And I think that maybe it's a strategy to distract us so that when we speak, we have to address the issues that they are trying to raise. But before I do that, I want to remind Tobago, because so many things happen so quickly in the last 4 years that some people are beginning to take the progress for granted. They have forgotten that Tobago was at a standstill. When this administration came into office, nothing was happening in Tobago. Bills were not being paid. Nothing new was happening, no road. As a matter of fact, the slogan of the last campaign was, "Let we fix this." But nowhere in the minds of the persons who were saying that, they understood the huge task that they had to undertake. Because when we came into office, every single thing had to fix. And so many things were fixed that now people have gotten so accustomed, and it happened in quick time, that people did not realize. This administration has shown that we are prepared to do new things. We started to develop our Tobago-centric curriculum. And that was geared towards our Tobago children and developing our Tobago children here on the island. Recently, we had our Dodds diving competition in Charlotteville. And again, that initiative is geared towards the promotion of this island in an international sphere. We had a drone show. Now, it may seem simple to you all, but remember, we are accustomed to fireworks and all of that. It was the first time on this island we had a drone show, and from all reports, it was impressive. And I'm just showing you the kind of intuition and the kind of, what should I say, new ideas that are coming from this executive. We have our indoor beach facility. That's the first of its kind in the country. Not in Tobago, in the country, in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm seeing Secretary Clark here, and I stand to be corrected. But it is the first time, as well under this administration, that our children were allowed to play indoor games. We put down the floor in Shore Park and our children were playing there. And of course, I could go on and on, but I have 10 minutes. I wanted to talk about the Mecca, the Tobago Carnival. And the Tobago Carnival has become such a success that people forgot that in the first year of the Tobago Carnival, this same administration that is asking you to put Tobago first again, criticize the carnival. I don't know if you all remember. And they have no choice now but to come on board because the carnival is a huge success. So now, they are trying to take the carnival and say it was their idea. But you could have an idea, you know. But it's the person who put the idea into motion that is the person who deserves the credit, because you never had the intuition and the guile to get started on those projects. So that I'm saying all of this to tell you, right, that this party is a party that is thinking about the future of Tobagonians. This party is a party that is thinking about the future of the younger generation in Tobago. I just want to bring one thing to your attention as well. When we launched our blueprint, because we want Tobago's population to increase and so on, we looked at ways in which we can encourage persons to have more children and try to increase the population in Tobago, which will assist in terms of economic activities and so on. And my chief secretary proposed that for every baby that was born, the parents will receive $500. But I didn't want you to miss when he spoke about it, that he said he spoke to the Secretary of Finance and they calculated what it will cost the THA and that we can afford it and sustain it. Soon after that announcement was made, the other side jumped out. They give in $1,000 without any information at all about how they could pay it, how they could sustain it. And this tells us what is happening with these people. They're helter-skelter, they're all over the place. Right? And simply, they are trying to fool Tobagonians, because I have seen the playbook, and I know that they're going to promise you $1,000, and then when they get inside, they're going to make some excuse why they can't give you $1,000. Our administration is a responsible administration. And as I said, before the Chief Secretary announced that, he had a conversation with the Secretary of Finance. And that is the responsible thing to do. So that you know when you promise the people, you can't keep the promise because you have the resources to keep the promise. Now I have 10 minutes and I want to deal with a matter because it is very important. And when I come on the platform, I really want to talk to you more about our blueprint and the plans that we have for you. Because we have some really huge plans that we will be able to achieve. Not no pie-in-the-sky plans. But I was looking at Facebook this morning. I'm not really a social media person, but occasionally I do. And I saw where my colleague, Mr. Pollard, was being dragged over the coals by the Senator Robert Rajman. And I heard that this administration is an administration that victimizes persons. And the young gentleman in question was victimized by the secretary. Now, this is the same senator contributing to a debate on home invasion and started to talk about military plane landing in the airport. And the reason why I'm saying that is because these people have their agenda and they stop at nothing to achieve their agenda. I have in front of me here, right, a document in relation to that matter with that young gentleman. And All people that say every story has three sides. Your side, my side, and the truth.
You respect that.
But this document that I have in front of me here, advising the gentleman that he was illegally occupying the state's property, was not written by the secretary. This was written and signed by the administrator of the division. Do you all know who the administrator is? That is the accounting officer of the division, not the secretary. That is not a politician. And there are circumstances surrounding that whole matter that the secretary had no part to play. As a matter of fact, the administrator was advised by the senior state council of Tobago to write to the gentleman, not the secretary. Because this gentleman was occupying the state property and not paying, and still has not been paying for the house. And many Tobagonians who occupy state house had to pay. But this gentleman was not paying because he had a particular relationship and was sent there by a secretary, a former secretary, without the necessary what he was supposed to do. So you come on the platform and you paint this picture as though that this gentleman is being victimized by the secretary and all of that. And there is nothing further than the truth. And I'm bringing this to the attention of Tobago because I want Tobago to understand how desperate these people are. You could tell me that this situation has been going on. This gentleman, this is May 6, 2022. He was written to, and then on July 2022. And I want to ask Tobago the question. You don't find it a little strange that it's only now, election time, 1 week before the election, this matter is being put in the public space, this allegation against the secretary. Look at what is happening. Tobago, I want you to be smart. Tobago, I want you to be smart. Because this administration has been doing so many different things because Tobago is we, and we care about the people. But when you look at what is happening with this administration, you understand that these people are about deception. The other senator, or former senator, Mr. Hislop, was on the platform trying to insinuate that there is some kind of corruption by the chief secretary because the chief secretary handed over a hotel to a state entity to run it. And trying all how to paint some kind of corruption in that. I thought that the chief secretary handed over the hotel to run to the old man because the old man lives in Speyside. Right? Then I could see some kind of corruption. But it was handed over to a state company, which is normal and natural in Trinidad and Tobago. And you try to paint some corruption in that. But if you all want the meeting in Moriah, where Secretary James mentioned two gentlemen's names, and the quantum of millions, upward of $50-something million in contracts to those two gentlemen, that is corruption.
You respect that. You respect that.
Tobago, I don't want us to lose focus. You have an administration that is Tobago-centric. The leader is from Tobago and Tobago East. I don't say that. We have an administration that cares about the people of Tobago. We have an administration that keeps their word to the people of Tobago. And all the things that this administration has said that it is going to do for the people of Tobago, it has been done. And those that are not done are in trade. So I'm saying to Tobago tonight, this is not the time, as my colleague who will come on shortly, to play for slips. This is not the time to take chances with somebody who is promising you things that they know they can't deliver, and they know as soon as they get into office, which is not going to happen, they're going to forget. Let us be smart, Tobago. I have taught for 29 years, and one of the things that we teach is critical thinking. And when people do certain things, you have to ask, what is the motive? You have to ask, what is the motive? Don't allow yourselves to be fooled by these individuals who are self-serving. They do not have any intention to make your life better. Come the 12th of January, give yourself a New Year's present and ensure that you go to the polls and you vote for the Tobago's People's Party. ensure that your future remains secure, that your children's future remains secure. Because to do anything else, you are going to be sinking this island. Tobago is poised for takeoff, and let us continue with the upward movements of this island. Let us not be deterred. So come January 12th, get up early in the morning. Take up your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your uncle, your tante, your nene, your dog, and your cat too. And go out to the polls and put your X next to the anchor. Put your X next to the TPP, the Tobago's People's Party. There's only one choice in this election. There's only one choice. So remember, Tobago is we. Choose a party that is of the people, formed by the people, for the people. This party does not take instruction from anywhere else. And one last thing I want to mention as I said that, because I was about to wrap up before I see the sign. You see this notion that they continue to try to peddle. I thought that when I spoke in Delafour that it would have been the end of that. This we and UNC and all sort of nonsense. I have a message for the PNM tonight. It is not going to work on Tobagonians again. Everywhere you turn, you are hearing this narrative about the TPP is aligned with the UNC. If we have a central government that is cooperative, and we have seen that, we have seen late flights, we have seen the export license, we have seen so many initiatives that we were trying to get all the time that we couldn't get under the former government, and we are getting it now. So because we are willing to work with a government who is working with us, you're trying to paint the narrative. The Kolkata ship thing, that was a long time. It not working, it now work. Tobago are not buying it. Cut it out. I want to leave you with one thing. Over the next week, well, next few days actually, I am warning you, they are going to come with all sorts of bacchanal. They're going to try to dirty the politics. They're going to come with all sorts of allegations. As I mentioned earlier, this man was written in 2022. You're now coming on a platform to try to paint the picture that's how he was victimized. They are going to come with all sorts of things. Do not lose focus. Keep your eyes on the prize. We have a mission to accomplish on the 12th of January to ensure that Tobago remains in the hands of capable people, in the hands of people who can govern, in the hands of the leader, Farley, Chavez, Augustine, and his team. Come January 12th, vote resoundingly for the TPP. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
When we started this meeting, I told you the purpose is to educate you. And when you receive your education is for your examination on the 12th of January. Don't forget that. Now, I want to ask you a question. Which is the best party in whose hand you must leave Tobago? Nah, man, nah. Which party is the best party? I want you to join me in saying good night to our Honorable Chief Secretary and political leader of the TPP, Mr. Farley, Chavez, Augustine. I want you to help me to recognize our Deputy Political Leader, our Deputy Chief Secretary, and the Secretary for Health, Dr. the Honorable Faith Brebnor. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to correct one thing Mr. Orlando Kerr said. He asks you to choose a party, and the word a is an indefinite article, and I want to replace it with the definite article of the only party. So we are going to change that and say the only party capable of leading Tobago is TPP. TPP, nobody else. One last question. If Mr. Robinson was here tonight, do you think he would have been pleased? Well, we must not forget, we must never forget that struggle that he started in 1976. I want you, lastly, to help me to recognize the hard-working police officers, and I want to tell them that this meeting is for you also. Because notwithstanding, they cannot make political statements, they have the right to vote. The police regulations are clear. It says a police officer must not make public expressions of political matters. Although one does do that, you know. One does do that. But he must bear himself with strict impartiality at all times. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on. We are moving on. So I want to thank all of you for coming. There is a gentleman who used to be with us on this side. He used to be with us on this side, and he detoured. He digressed, and he's gone somewhere else. And I want to invite him back home. I'm going to tell all you who after the next speaker. I'll tell all you, I'm going to tell all you. There is a special gentleman in this crowd here that I want to recognize. And that is a gentleman by the name of Toto. All you know Toto? His name is Codrington Bernard. Good night, Toto. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker. A woman from Belle Garden. Started her education at the Belle Garden Anglican Primary School. And then she went on to Roxborough Secondary. And from there she went other places. Today she holds a PhD. A wonderful woman. She has been leading this district in the last 4 years. And I can tell you, before the last 4 years, I watched her as she went in and out of functions. I wondered how she made it. There was not anything in this district that she was not a part of. And today, I have the distinguished pleasure of inviting her to the lectern, but before she comes, let me say this. She is a woman among women and a leader among leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters of the TPP, help me in welcoming to the lectern Dr. Faith Brebnor. You see the woman?
We stand together side by side. Same struggle, same fight. One community, one plan. Win the war, hand in hand. We stand together with Dr. Faith. Our development just can't wait. It's we community, we not Tobago. Now the road we walk is long. Some days weak, some days strong. Nobody high, nobody small. Every voice matter, every call. We stand together side by side. Same struggle, same fight. One community, one plan. We stand together with Dr. Faith. Our development just can't wait. It's we community, we know Tobago is we. Someone to speak when we need voice. Someone to
Good evening, good evening, good evening, TPP family. Good evening to all who are in the hearing of my voice. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Now, this district is known as Belle Garden, Glamorgan. But I specifically want to say good evening to Kendall. Good evening to Belle Garden. Good evening to Richmond. Good evening to Glamorgan. Good evening to Pembroke. Good evening to Goodwood. Good evening, good evening, good evening, TPP family. So I want to start, and I'm going to tell you why I am starting like this. I was with my mother some time ago, and she introduced me to someone, and the person did not know that I was her child. So I will start by introducing myself. I am Dr. Faith Brebnor, born, grow in Belle Garden.
You respect that.
My mother, most of you may not know her real name, but you would know her as Auntie Moy, because she has taught almost everyone in preschool. My grandmother, heaven rest her soul, Miss Idris Brebnor. My grandfather, most people probably don't know his name. They used to call him Cap. Yes? That is his name, exactly. And I will add, I am also very proud of the other side of my family, because I have a heritage that comes from the Sandys in Plymouth. And I would say to people sometimes, that might be the side of me that gets me in trouble sometimes. But it's okay. I hold on to it, and I love it. Now, I want to just take a little bit of time. And we don't have a lot of time this evening because we have another meeting, and the chief sec still has to talk here, and then we will go to Mount St. George. I want to let you know that I am, as William Nurse said, went to preschool in Belle Garden, went to primary school in Belle Garden, went to Roxborough Secondary School, and I am saying this part in particular because I want people to recognize that country produces good things. And coming out, if you were a student at Roxborough Secondary, be proud, because I stand proud coming from Roxborough Secondary. Following Roxborough, I went to Signal Hill. And then I went to the United States, where I did my bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. So no, I don't have a medical degree. I have a Doctor of Public Health degree. In preschool, in primary school, Girls' Guides, 4-H, all of that stuff. In secondary school, cadets, PAN, all of that. And yes, I did do a little bit of martial arts. Yes, that is why I'm saying it, Mr. Nurse. So that you understand the history where I come from. You understand the level of discipline that I am used to. You understand that I am used to being in community groups even before I got into politics, because that is simply who I am. And coming into politics was really just the next step. That is why, Mr. Williams, it is very easy for me to be at every single event, because that is what got me to this point. It is those people, the police youth clubs, the regular youth clubs, the village councils, the sporting organizations, all of those things is what got me to this point. Now, I am saying all of that for a reason. I'm saying it because I want you to understand that when the Tobago People's Party speaks to you about developing Tobago, it speaks to you about developing Tobago with individuals just like myself who understands the communities that we serve, who understands what those communities need, and who have the actual wherewithal and know-how to do what we said we are going to do. So, what have we actually done? What have we actually done? Because I understand that there is another gentleman who is running in this district, and part of his campaign is going around and saying, faith and do nothing for nobody, faith and do nothing. So I want you to know what I have done. And it is not what I have done in her. It is what we have done. It is what we collectively have done for the people. One of the things that we did at the beginning was ensure that we started doing training for individuals in the community. And I want to link this. I am talking about what we did, and I want to link it to what we will do. Because again, Orlando had 10 minutes and I have about the same amount of time. So we want to link it to what we did, to what we are going to do. A couple of days ago, the Chief Secretary on the 1st spoke about a blueprint. You all saw it? You all saw the blueprint? It actually came out, so you can go online and read it and pick it up, and you will be able to see the details of what we were talking about. So that blueprint talks about where we see this island going. So, and I want to read this specifically. It is based on developing this island in a way that is holistic and in a way that makes sense for every single one of us. It speaks about human-centered development that prioritizes well-being and quality of life. And let me stick up in there because I want to talk about what we did and what we will continue to do with that. How many of you have actually or know anybody who did cataract surgeries? You know anybody? Right there. Who did cataract surgeries? Because that is us recognizing that your sight is something that is important for your independence. That is something I love you too. That is something that is important for all of us. So that is an example of what we have done. While in this district we've spoken to, as a matter of fact, Sanisha, remember when we used to come to the youth club? And in those youth clubs, we spent our time talking about diabetes, talking about sexual health, talking about all of those things. And we continue to do all of that because we are interested in people-centered development. Now, I am saying this and I am taking my time because I don't want you all to get carried away with the others and what they are going on and on about. As Orlando said, this is a time where they will start and they will come with all sorts of stories. So that is not what we want. We are talking about sustainable growth that produces, that protects natural resources. What does that mean? Do you all know that in food security, we have actually been rehabilitating cocoa fields? Think about it. Our cocoa in Tobago is actually one of the best, the richest cocoas in the world. And because we understand that, we have actually been working to rehabilitate cocoa fields to ensure that we can continue producing world-class cocoa. We also have been doing seed banks. You know what a seed bank is? So you realize sometimes you're not seeing a kind of plant anymore and you're wondering where that plant is. What we've been doing is identifying those plants and ensuring that we save them up and we save their seeds so that we could keep planting them so that they will be around for a long time to come. So that is just one example of that. our fishermen have been out there, and the other day, let me tell you all a quick story. The other day, I happened to go down by the bay in Belle Garden and was talking to some of the fishermen. And I realized that I was talking to them. They were about to leave, but they were not going to leave to fish. They were going with hunting dogs because they were going out to the islands to hunt. And when I asked them about what did it take, what does it take for them to do what they need to do better, they spoke about hunting and ensuring that there's a hunting association so that we can do it safely and so that we can protect the natural resources that is there. That came from them. Because they are important, they understand that if we do this and we do this well, their livelihoods will be protected.
You respect that.
So when we talk about natural resources and ensuring that we protect it, Tobago, I am asking you to help us protect those natural resources. And let me just say one thing though, because this part actually bothers my soul, being secretary with responsibility for health, wellness, and social protection. Tobago, I think we have gotten a little teeny weeny bit too nasty. You all hearing me? We're talking serious thing. We're talking serious thing. This island is a clean island because we have people going around every single morning cleaning this island. And because we have people going around every single morning cleaning this island, people probably think that you could then throw things because somebody will come to clean it. That is not a culture that we should be encouraging. Ensure that you do not throw your things out of the window because that is not good for this environment. Now, I am saying that because part of our development thrust, part of what we are pushing is the beauty of this island. When tourists come here, they should be able to walk anywhere and say to themselves, this is the cleanest place they have been to. And we need every single one of you to be a part of that process with us. So for the fishermen in Belle Garden, one of the things we've already started working through, and I did not even know what this concept was, is a slipway. You all know what a slipway is? That is a thing that you could put, it goes from the shore into the beach so that you could pull up the boats easily when you are trying to pull up the boats from the sea. And it is something that is relatively simple to do. And it is something that they say they want to do. And I've already started chatting with the secretary with responsibility for food security. Because it's not a very expensive piece of thing to construct. But guess what? For something as simple as that, that is going to change the lives of the fishermen, the Tobago People's Party need to be voted into office on the 12th of January. It is as simple as that.
You respect that.
And we want to have what is called inclusive prosperity. Now, inclusive prosperity, where the entire island benefits from the wealth of the island. And I will stick a pin there because I want to show you the difference between what we are proposing and what the others have been doing. I was so surprised the other night. I was so surprised the other night when my good friend, when my distant family, when my colleague Trevor James started showing what he was showing the other night. You all saw it? I am going to repeat it for those who may not have been paying attention and did not see it. What Secretary James highlighted was that in one day in December 2020, and I want you all to pay attention to the time. One day, I think he said the 18th of December 2020, one single contractor was given 25 contracts. You all heard me? A single contractor was given 25 contracts. And the total amount for those 25 contracts came to over $58 million. But I want you all to pay attention, because you all know what was happening in January 2021. You all ain't get a part. January 2021 is when we had the election, remember? And remember when we came out 6-6, yeah? So just before the election, when they know that they should be managing the resources of the Tobago House of Assembly wisely, they gave one single gentleman's company $58 million in contracts in one single day. And when you look at each of the contracts, when you look at each of them, you recognize that what they could have done was actually give 25 different people those contracts. You all see the difference? Because they could have given 25 different people those contracts so that this wealth would be spread throughout the entire island. But instead, they gave it to one person, and that one person, as the Prime Minister himself, well, the former Prime Minister himself said, was his close and personal friend. Going into an election, how much of that $58 million do you think probably made it back into their pockets? You all think about it. And that is when we got into the executive in 2021 December. That is what we found. Imagine if we had not gotten there in December 2021, all of the things that we unearthed and we were saying to you between then and now, Tobagonians, you would have never known. So I want to tell you that those on the other side, when you see them fighting tooth and nail to get back in, and they are asking you to fight tooth and nail with them, I want to ask those people who are on Facebook yarding out themselves, and those of you who are out there talking about this, that, and the other, how much of that $58 million did you receive? How much of that $58 million did you receive? And I'm not even asking the TPP people. I'm asking PNM people, those on the ground, those who you have walking up and down and cussing me on Facebook and doing all of that. How much of that $58 million did you receive? And when you think about what that organization has done for themselves, you have to honestly know, if you are listening to me, because I know plenty of them are listening, you have to honestly ask yourself, when one man gets 58 million, are you still down in the trenches, even though you were the one who was there fighting and cussing for them? Is that fair? And the answer is simple. It is not fair. And that is why this Tobago People's Party blueprint speaks about inclusive prosperity. Prosperity for all. So that when you're in Charlotteville, whether you are in Pembroke, whether you are in Mount St. George, whether you are in Parlatuvier, whether you are in Keynote and Crown Point, wherever, you are part of that. And that is why when we got into this seat, one of the first things that I did in this electoral district was come to the district and started doing classes. And let me explain the classes that we were doing. We were doing procurement classes so that you understand as a young, small contractor how to get onto the procurement registration, how to actually come to the Tobago House of Assembly and get a contract. That is something that those on the other side will never do, because they do not want small contractors like you to understand the process. Because if you understand the process, they would not be able to give one man 25 contracts. As I said this morning in an interview, one of the legacies that I will like to leave after I come out of politics, whenever that is to be able to identify honest millionaires who became millionaires because of the policies of inclusive prosperity. And that is why we are asking each and every one of you, when we bring these things on stream, do not stay home. Do not ignore them. Don't say that all you want is this. No. Come and understand so that you can also be a part of that prosperity that is inclusive.
You respect that.
The other thing we want is innovative development. What does that mean? It means ensuring that when we do things here, it is world class. That we are actually using the technology that is out there for our benefit. It means ensuring that if you live here, you can go to the US and work and function. And if you leave the US, you can come back here and work and function and use these devices. And that is why we have spent so much time going through. It is not easy for us to allow each THA building to give you free Wi-Fi. It means we have to leave it on. It means our bill is actually higher. But we want to give you that level of technology. And we want to ensure that when you develop, you are using the best that is available. So take use of it. Make full use of it. And we want to talk about cultural preservation. Cultural preservation is ensuring that the things that we consider old, the things that we consider our heritage remains. And if you recognize, we are talking about innovation, but in the middle of innovation, we want to preserve our culture. We want to preserve the things that got us to this point. So for example, at the Tobago Iswe Festival, there is footage of me mixing kong kong tea. All you know what is kong kong tea? How much all you know what is kong kong tea? That is the thing. It's like cassava cocoa. And I then turn in the kong kong tea and me hip stiff. And the lady telling me, no, put your hip in it, put your hip in it, put your hip in it. And it is that kind of thing that I never experienced that before. And surprisingly, there were many Tobagonians who were right there and they were asking, what is that? Because they had never seen kong kong tea. They didn't know what kong kong tea was. That is not acceptable. Because those are the things that make us who we are. When tourists come to Tobago, they are not coming to Tobago because they want to go in a tall building. They are coming to Tobago because they want to experience the simplicity of what we have here. That is why they are here. So when we are talking about ensuring that we improve the room stock on the island, for example, it is not to come and put up any big hotel. It is to ensure that each of you in your downstairs may have 2 or 3 rooms so that when a tourist comes into the village, they can stay among you and they can learn of the culture. Somebody asked me recently, what does Castara do? Because Castara is a perfect example of that. You all know that there are people who come to Castara every single year. They get off of the plane, they drive straight to Castara, they stay there for their week or 2 weeks, and then they go back home. Because Castara allows them to be integrated into the community. And that is what we want all of Tobago to be able to do for visitors when they come. So this is a simple thing. The blueprint is not a difficult document. When you look at it, yes, it is plenty pages. But if you go through every page one by one, you would recognize that your life would be significantly better. It will be way more developed. You will have all of the resources that you need if you allow us. If you allow us to get there to do it. And that means on January 12th, going to the polls and voting. Now, I want to talk about voting a little bit. Because there are several things happening right now. Have you gotten your poll card yet? No. Somebody said earlier in one of our groups that they got their poll card. But I am here to tell you that, even if you did not get your poll card, you could vote. Even if you did not get your poll card, you can vote. So many of you may not have your ID card, or your ID card may have been lost, or it was expired. Even if you do not have your ID card, you can still vote. You do not have to wait for that. You do not have to present that. It just means that your time will be just a little longer in the polling booth because you need to go through the process, but we need each of you to vote. So my staff, Kima, Diamond, Nikaisha, you all seen what I have in my hand? You all seen what I have? What we have done, because this is not no plaything. And let me tell you, I have said so many times that I am in Tobago doing this because I choose to be in Tobago doing this. I am here because I was one of those students that Mr. Hochoy Charles got in trouble for. They were sending money to educate Tobagonians. I was one of those students who was away and was getting the little bit of money from the Tobago House of Assembly. As a matter of fact, I do not even understand now that I am in this role. I don't even understand where Mr. Hochoy Charles was getting the money from to send for me in Pittsburgh. So I am here giving back to Tobago. It is my obligation to do that. But the only way that is going to be a reality is if each and every one of you on January 12th do what you are supposed to do. The only way that is going to work. So if you are in this district known as Belle Garden, Glamorgan, when you go to the polls, you will see a polling card, you will see a ballot paper. And the ballot paper would have 3 names on the ballot paper. The first name will be Faith Brebnor. The first name will be Faith Brebnor. And I am telling you that because I don't even want you to read the rest of it. I am telling you that because I don't want you to go in and squint. I don't want you to go in and say, well, you're not sure about the others. No, you only need to look at the first name. And that is for this district, Faith Brebnor.
You respect that.
And somebody asked me recently, because one of the young fellas, and you all think the young people are not paying attention. I was in my office, I think earlier today, and one of the young boys who voted for the first time in, what was that, April? He was the one who asked, the symbol fix? Because when he went and voted the last time, the symbol was in a big black box. And he wanted to know whether he needed to go back and look for the big black box. But we are telling you we were able to fix that. And therefore the anchor is very, very clear. The anchor is extremely clear when you go into the polling booth. And there is something else that I want to say that I said in Castara. I know that on this stage, when people talking, let us talk about ramming the X, right? Let us talk about ramming the X. Now, that is how we just get people to be lively and so forth on the stage. But I don't want you to ram the X. You will actually get a sticker thing, a stamp. And you need to take your time and place your stamp right next to the anchor. But this is the important part. If for some reason you put the X in the wrong place, maybe your hand was shaking, maybe it ended up on a line or something like that. If for some reason, you're all hearing me, you put the X by the wrong place, it is your right to go back outside with the paper and tell them who working in the polling station, I don't want to use this again, give me a new one.
You respect that.
I am taking my time. I'm not doing any hype up kind of speech tonight. Because in 2017, that was the first time I contested an election. And in 2017, at the end of those polls, when we were done counting, I had lost by 5. I had lost by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the end of that, I met so many people during the following week that kept telling me I was planning to vote in her, but I went see and come back late. I was planning to vote in her, but I did think you did win already. I was planning to vote in her, but my head was hurting me, and I didn't come down the road again. And because of all of those excuses, and when I count, I meet 100 people who tell me that they was planning to vote in her, but they did not do it. And that ended with me losing by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We cannot allow that to happen again. And those of you who decided that you were going to be a special voter, meaning you sign up to vote early, voting is happening right now. Let me also tell you, if you signed up to be a special voter, you have to vote during this week. If you do not vote this week, if you are a special voter, you will not be allowed to vote on Monday. So do not say, I ain't go. I go do it on Monday. By the time you get there on Monday, your name would have already been crossed off the list. You all hearing me? That wouldn't happen. That ain't gonna happen. And I'm telling you why that ain't happen. Because when we go there, the people who we are electing, the people who we are putting in the voting booths, the people who we are putting there to work for the party, we are training them to make sure. And let me say this though. Let me say this to all of the people and them who will be working on election day. We're supposed to have a motorcade on Sunday. All you hear me? We're supposed to have a motorcade on Sunday. The people and them who working on Monday, all you stay home for me, please. You hear me? Stay home for me, please. Because we want when Monday morning, bright and early at 5 a.m., you are not tired. You're not drunk. You're not any of those things. Because it's when that happens that they just do it. Stay home. Because, and let me tell you, if you stay home Sunday and we go out on Monday and vote, the victorycade, you see the victorycade? The victorycade, that is what will be sweet. That is what would be sweet. And all of us would be able to enjoy the victorycade in a way that we cannot speak about it. So Tobago, you have one choice. As Mr. Williams say, we have the choice. The only choice on January 12th is the Tobago People's Party. The only choice on January 12th is when you look on the ballot paper, look for the anchor. Whatever district you are in, wherever you are, ensure that you get up and you go out and vote for the anchor. There is no other option. There is no other option, because what we are doing is trying to take Tobago and make Tobago the greatest little island on the planet. And there is only one way to do it. Those on the other side do not have any ideas. One more quick thing. There is a lovely gentleman who is going up against me. Lovely. Lovely, lovely gentleman. But I want Glamorgan people in particular. Glamorgan people in particular. Just take your mind back. Remember, we just recommissioned the Glamorgan Community Center. But I want you to take your mind back to the times just before the Glamorgan Community Center was closed. Remember how hard all of you used to have to walk to fight for the key to you get the Glamorgan Community Center, remember? Because he used to behave like if that is his own. He used to behave as if he owned that. And if you and do what he wants, nothing for you. Imagine somebody who is coming to you now to say he's a community person and that is how he was behaving when he had the opportunity to take care of you in the community. Imagine with that little bit of power how he was behaving. So imagine what you're going to do if you actually give him more power than that. Crapo, smoke your pipe. So, on January 12th, I want you to get up very, very, very early. Brush your teeth. Yes, we agree. Brush your teeth. And ensure that you go to your polling station and vote resoundingly for the Tobago People's Party. Vote resoundingly for the anchor. Vote resoundingly for whoever is the candidate in your area. Because as we say, Tobago is we. Tobago is we. Tobago is we. I thank you.
Where Mr. Glenn Byron? Where is Glenn Byron? Rapo! Come forward, let us see you. All right. Yes. All you hear the message? You don't want Carl, he said that. I never planned tonight to call the gentleman's name.
You respect that?
No. That is my schoolmate, eh? Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell all you come to these meetings. And let me be very clear. If there was ever a week when you must be sober in your mind, is this week. If there was ever a time, a week when you must attend all the meetings of the TPP that you can, is this week. Because you are going to hear the most sobering messages. Dr. Faith, I just want to comment on one of your points. You see that in that wealth business, I agree with you. About 500 meters east from where we are, in 1997, Dr. the Honorable Morgan Job told Tobagonians who were listening to him then, and this is how he said it. He said, I believe that we can produce a little more millionaires in this little Glamorgan and environment. And he said, we have the resources to do it, and if we understand how. But tonight, I am very clear in my mind as to how we can do that. And I want you to join me, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together and give the Tobago House of Assembly, led by the Honorable Chief Secretary, Farley, Chavez, Augustine, for the blueprint. Let me hear you. Yes. Yes. I want you to go on YouTube when you leave here. Those of you who know how to surf YouTube. Dr. Martin Luther King delivered one of the most stirring speeches I have heard. And it is entitled, What is in Your Life's Blueprint? Let me repeat it. I am joking, you know. The question is, what is in your life's blueprint? Go home and listen and look it up. Listen to it, because you will never be the same after you hear that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am told our Honorable Chief Secretary is here. And I know all here satisfied with this short meeting, because people now start to come in, but we have another one. There are others waiting for us in Mount St. George, so we're gonna move on quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker. And I made earlier a promise that with the person who defected from us, I will call them home and tell you their names. I want to call home my second cousin, Kenneth Punchin Thomas. Wherever you are, you belong right here. There is work for you to do, and there is room here for you. And lastly, always remember this. Take this away with you. The world has a habit of making room for people who know where they are going. The world has a habit of making room for people who know where they are going. The pleasure is mine to introduce to you the next speaker. A man who predicted his very election to the post of Chief Secretary, even as a school child at Bishop's High School. A man who has given his life to community service. A teacher, a mentor, a committed son. And ladies and gentlemen, a man who can walk the streets and loved by everyone. Brothers and sisters, with Johnny King's song, Nathia's Plan. Join me, please, I beg you. Join me in welcoming the Honorable, the political leader of the TPP, the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Right Honorable Farley, Chavez, Augustine. Ladies and gentlemen, come close.
Destruction of the weak is nature's plan. The humble and the weak must understand.
Good night, TPP family. Good night, Glamorgan. Good night, Tobago people. Good night, Pembroke. Good night, Richmond people. Good night, Belle people. Good night, Goodwood people. Good night, Kendall people. Good night, Punchin. Tonight is the only night we're taking a sip of Punchin. When my partner Punchin,
You know, this campaign start to feel like we already on the night of January the 12th, and we gather to celebrate. I want to thank all of you all, so many of you all, for coming out tonight and being here at the Pembroke Junction. You know, I go around the island. I walk in different electoral districts. We keep meetings in districts all over the island. But for me, there is something extra special about this electoral district. I told you when I was in Zion Hill about how much family I have up in Zion Hill. And then if I am to just drive for a few minutes to Richmond Point, I will get to the same house that my grandmother and Uncle Boise and all them Andrews grew up in, right in Richmond Point. I have an aunt living there still. If I should just go just up the hill to the cemetery underneath the Adventist church in Glamorgan, that's where my grandmother is buried. Because after she died, we returned to her home church in Glamorgan to be buried. In other words, my roots come from here. And so I always feel at home here in this electoral district of Belle Garden, Glamorgan, that extends from Kendall all the way to Goldsboro. Tonight I want to talk to you about a few things. Because as the campaign is approaching its end, what we have essentially is a team on the other side that will continuously use deception and fake news as a way of fearing people away from the polls, or fearing them or scaring them into voting for them. I told you last night that their platform is a platform of endless fears. This platform is a platform of hope. Their platform is a platform of baseless allegations. This platform is a platform of aspiration. Their platform is a platform of fiction. This platform is a platform of bare facts and facts only. And I'm telling you tonight, you have to be careful lest you be deceived. Remember Eve's story? Remember Eve's story? Remember how the enemy does find a way to splice in a little bit of truth and twist it to deceive you. Do not be deceived. We shall not be deceived this time around. Come the 12th of January 2026, we know what we are doing. We are going to the polls and we are going to vote resoundingly for the anchor. We are going to the polls and we are going to register our vote for Dr. Faith Brebnor in this election. And so over the next few days, every time they tell a lie, I will come here and tell the truth. And I will repeat it until they're sick and tired of me. And I'll do something more than that. Because I realize they are going past what is democratically acceptable. And it might just be time for us to call our lawyers to slap some of them with some lawsuit for slander and defamation. Because they continue with this slackness with no regard. And I want to start by addressing one of those lies. I addressed it in Bonaccord, but they're not satisfied, so they come back again today. I told you in Bonaccord that the Tobago House of Assembly does not own any of the lands at No Man Lands. I said that clearly. I said, no, we own. And if it's not the THA own, we can't give it away, we can't sell it, we can't lease it, we can't lend it. It is not our land. Yet today, one of their propagandists, a propagandist who right now, he don't know where he head from his foot. Because he started off as PDP, then he ended up with the purple team because he ain't get a seat to run. Now he red, he confused. He is a walking rainbow himself. He ain't know what color he belong to. I know what color I belong to, and I am blue to the core. We are blue-blooded people. We are royalty, part of a royal priesthood. So we know our identity. We are the Tobago People's Party. And so, after saying that the land ain't belong to us, one of the private owners for the land apparently went and put up a sign saying no trespassing. One of the private owners put on big stone and must block some pathway for ATV. The land not belong to the THA. And anybody who operating on the land, they are in fact squatting on private land. It ain't belong to the Tobago House of Assembly. And I've said it many times. Let me go further. I spoke to the fact that part of that estate was vested in a company that was designed to take care of the build-out for the ill-fated Sandals Hotel. That piece of land belongs to Clico. It then belongs to the THA. And the then government was trying to take it from Clico to give it to Sandals. They never gave it to the THA. The next piece of the estate is still owned by the Latos. We don't just say Lato. The Lato people them own their land. The Lato people are them actually trying to sell their land. The THA does not own the land. So it's Clico on one side, the Lato on the other side, and they are the owners of the land. The only piece the THA owns is a 2-acre block right before Gibson Jetty that was actually purchased from Clico by the THA. The Buku Reef Trust used to operate from it. If you go down to Gibson Jetty now, you will see a shipping container, a small container etched out on a piece of a land. That piece is THA owned. And then after that, you have the mangrove before you get to no man's land. So I've said it once. I've said it twice. I've said it a third time. And I will keep saying it. Because what these people are trying to do is to confuse the thing. Confuse you to the point where you either decide to vote for them or to stay home. And in this election, I want to tell you that is a trick of the enemy. Staying home will not protect what we have in store for your children. Staying home will not result in the ideals of the blueprint being realized. Staying home will not ensure that we have community nurseries. Staying home will not ensure that we take care of every newborn child born in Tobago. Staying home will not ensure that our young farmers get $100,000 to farm. Staying home will not ensure that you get the new Tobago minimum living wage, where every single Tobagonian employed by the THA must make no less than $5,500 per month. Staying home is not a choice in this election. Too much is at stake, and there is only one political institution with a real and feasible plan for the people of Tobago, and that is the Tobago People's Party. I want to go further on this issue because, as luck will have it, on Friday the 28th of November, I sent the Chief Administrator an internal memo. This is Friday the 28th of November. I sent her an internal memo. Now, it's not customary for me to read internal memos, but I'm reading parts of this one. Because around Tobago, what people don't realize is that the Tobago House of Assembly is a body corporate, which means that the THA can sue and be sued, which means the THA acts like a company with a particular personality, which means that the THA does not have any protection from the sovereign. So anything the THA does, central government not paying for it. Central government not taking up none of the risk. It also means that the THA has a larger potential for financial risk than than the central government or even local government, because all we are is a body corporate as defined by the THA Act. More than that, the Tobago House of Assembly does not have compulsory acquisition rights. The central government could waltz in here and tell the people down Strawberry Local Road, leave your land. I want to build airport. Anything the THA wants to build, if private lands are involved, we have to go negotiate, hope the people want to sell the land and buy it at whatever price they're willing to sell it at. We have no compulsory acquisition rights in law. And that's why the THA has found itself in trouble in the past. Because sometimes, and Works Division especially, love to build road and build drain through people land without permission. You wake up one day and Works done put a road through your land. Works done build a drain through your land and said, it's good for you. And then people just come and say, well, since you come on my land without permission, you have to pay me. And they just go to court and they just win. So we just have to pay. So the THA cannot go down to no man's land and say, I want your land. And that's why when I say let those who ply their trade there and the private sector come up with a proposal, once I have that proposal, then I know who I have to go to now try to acquire a piece of the land to make it possible for them. Because as it is right now, the Tobago House of Assembly only has rights for 6 miles from the high water mark. That's all we have. We can't go beyond that. And so getting a proposal from those who are in the area, plying their trade, getting to understand what they want is the first step to us actually making the necessary land acquisitions to help them improve their businesses. So it are no land there that the THA give away. THA ain't sell no land there. We ain't sell to nobody else. And what is interesting is that they're trying to say we're going against black businesses. But let me be clear to you, PNM is the most anti-black party in the country. Don't be fooled. Let me be plain to you. They just walk around fooling poor black people, telling them this is a black party, and when they get in office, it's only the 1% that's benefit. Only people that don't look like me and you. And that is why in the past, we call the former Prime Minister a rose breadfruit. He black outside and the inside still white. And not even no good butter breadfruit. He not even yellow, inside white. So don't tell me about selling out black businesses. The people who sell out black business is the PNM. Where was that energy when they wanted to take the land to give to Sanders? They wanted to take it to give it to Sanders. And it was their member of parliament at the time who sat and signed that MOU with Sanders. Did they sit with the vendors in no man's land to ask them if to sign that MOU? I am sure there is not one single MOU, not one single letter or instruction from this Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, asking to remove anybody from there. But I sure could find an MOU. I sure could find an MOU wanting to give away that land. And I'm saying to you, do not be fooled in this election. They come just like the serpent on the tree, telling you it's good for food. And after you eat it, you have to suffer the punishment of sin. Do not eat their food come the 12th of January 2026 because you will spend the next 4 years suffering, punishing in sin. Don't do it. Don't do it at all. And so I want to share this letter from the 28th of November, Friday 28th of November. And the letter starts, it says, a memo. It says, I write to formally instruct your good office to begin the process of assessing, negotiating, and advising the Executive Council on the potential acquisition of several key land assets that are critical to Tobago's long-term development. These acquisitions form part of a strategic push to secure land resources for public use, economic expansion, and community resilience. You are asked to jointly undertake the following. And it's not just the chief, it is a team with the chief administrator, the senior state council, Mr. Richards, who's the chief economic advisor, land management, for them to sit and do this assessment of several key pieces of land. And I cite some justification. I say, one, I want them to conduct a comprehensive assessment. Two, I want them to engage and negotiate with the property owners. Three, they must advise the exec council upon completing their assessments and preliminary negotiations to provide clear recommendations to the exec, inclusive of cost projections, development opportunities, risks, timelines, and proposed payment arrangements. Here are the estates I asked them to consider for our purchase. Number one, Belmont Estate, Speyside. Already equipped with planning approvals and possessing quarry potential that may be advantageous for future infrastructural development. Two, Bishop Estate, Lambo, vacant lots near the fishing depot. These lots present an opportunity to relocate or reinforce state assets presently threatened by coastal erosion. Three, the Latour-owned estate. Further details will follow to support your assessment. Four, the Arnold-owned estate opposite St. Nicholas and Bishop's High School. This parcel is strategically located within a key urban corridor. Five, the Wahid-owned estate at Summerhill, being considered for urban housing initiatives to address rising demand for affordable and strategically located residential options. In other words, if I own the estate already, why am I writing the chief administrator, asking her to chair a team of public officials to assess whether we should buy these estates? And listed among it is the Latour estate. Currently, I want to tell those who want the truth, go and find Mr. Graham. Go and find Mr. Graham, who is the executor for the will and estate for the Latours. Go and find him right down there at Golden Grove Road and have a chat with him. See if you could buy it. Because the last time I had a chat with him, that would be over $100 million to purchase the estate that's there. It is over 100 acres of estate, extending all the way from the highway all the way back down into no man's land. And I'm saying to you again, as I keep saying it over and over again, don't allow them in this election to try to trump up race, because for us in Tobago, we only know one race, and that's the human race. We are in the electoral district of Belgarden, Glamorgan, and Mount St. George, Goodwood. And everybody in Tobago know the first and the realest Tobago Indians come from right in this electoral district, from the Rajmans, the Mohammeds, all of them. Baldios, right here. They live here a long time. They live here more years than I have years on this earth. They're born and grew up here. And all of them grew up here probably more black than me. So we don't know this race talk all they're talking about. Watch those on the other side who just talk race politics but play a dangerous class politics. Play a class politics where only if you have a certain class, you will get through. With the Tobago's People Party, whether you're first class, second class, third class, whether you're upper class, middle class, or lower class, you have part and parcel of an inheritance in these 116 square miles. The Tobago People's Party is for all of us because Tobago is we. Tobago is we. So I want to assure you, there is no sellout of any land by us to anybody, by us to any class elsewhere, by us to any other race. We have no intention of squeezing out any Tobago black businesses. That has never been our intention nor our action. And so when they come up with their lies, dismiss them, send them away in the name of Jesus, and go out on January 12th to vote for the Tobago People's Party. In this electoral district, and let me talk to you a bit about this electoral district. There are some initiatives that must come in this district, one of which confronted me on the bridge. Right? My good friend Sharon, who and I used to be battling in TFA meetings long time. Was remember Sharon from TFA meetings? Right? Granted, she team used to pick up all kind of 12-0, but she's actually, and I'm joking, of course, Sharon, but she's one of the most prolific football managers on the entire island. And she is, in fact, she used to be in a room with all the men in the room, being the only woman in the room in a male-dominated sport and running the room like nothing else. So let me hear it for Sharon. Always fighting for a team. Always. And there are some things that we have to deliver with Dr. Faith, that you have to deliver in the next 4 years. In these 4 years, the Richmond playing field, which has quality, which is a quality ground. Farmers don't have to drive across the field to get to their farms. Because you could have the size there for an official ground, we can commit to lights and some bleachers and some bathroom facility there. No, she said once we give them that, nobody beating we up here. And the young people in Richmond and Glamorgan and parts of Zion Hill, they need access to that ground. So we will fix that ground up. We completed the work on the community center, so it's now to go on the other side of the road and fix the ground up. We also have to look at, coming to Pembroke, we also have to look at the Richmond Road itself. Because the Richmond Road itself leads all the way down to a beautiful unused beach area, beautiful river, a cozy area. And I know that there is a team of young people from this area. They have been actually fixing and cleaning up the area down by the Richmond Beach and the beachfront. That area presents itself for exclusive tourism opportunities in what you call glamping, which is the fancy word for luxurious camping. It allows for some kayaking activity down at the river mouth. And of course, we have the beach there that is underutilized, that we can now bring into the public mainstream for the people of Richmond. I tell her my grandmother come from Richmond Point. Right? Ask where the host there? Where William Nurse? William Nurse got to tell you because he's a family too, and he's not a pumpkin vine family. We also have to look at the Belle Garden ground. One of the challenges with the Belle Garden ground now is that the ground is there, but we have more sheep and goats on the people ground than people. And I know the people of Belle Garden have been complaining about that. Now, this might be a simple exercise, but the simple exercise we are doing is that we are setting aside a piece of land for the sole purpose of impounding the animals that are there becoming a public nuisance. We have to work with each other. We can't provide community grounds, and the young people cannot use the grounds. We have to understand that animals pasturing on the ground present health challenges for children. You carry a little child, they're running up and down, their hand in the ground, their hand in their mouth. That presents a challenge. So if we can't work, if the farmers can't work with the community in ensuring that the grounds remain decent and available to the community for use, then we will have to impound the animals and then treat with the consequences thereafter. If we're talking good governance, if we're talking building out this island, then it can't be slackness everywhere. We We have to pull up our socks where we have to pull up our socks. Sticking with sports and recreation. If you go to Pembroke, you have a small informal ground there. I know there was an experiment with some solar lights and they're not quite working. But I see almost every year you keep a mammoth sporting activity on that small ground. I used to get invitations a long time, but me ain't get no invitations since I become tree sick. Many follow by us over. But I know we have that sporting activity that happens there every year, and the ground is used. Because we can't have Dr. Faith being Secretary for Health and have her district not involved in physical activity. We have to be physically active all the time to ensure our healthiness and our well-being. And so, even the lights there, we want to have those repaired. Here in this district, we did some road works at Top Hill. We did some road works in the Zionil area. But there is more to be done. Just as I am currently doing in the Bloody Bay area, where we're trying to provide access to those who are vulnerable. We have to do the same here. And because, let's be real, this is a hill and gully place. And because it's hill and gully, those with mobility challenges will have problems getting in and out of their home. Whether it's to go to the bank to encash their pension, or the health center for the checkup, the market, the supermarket, to visit family, to go to church, it becomes a problem, especially when rain falls. And so one of the programs that we're going through as a government is that we are going to aggressively use state resources and the teams under URP and development to help us create access points for people who have mobility issues, people who have to walk with a stick, who have a wheelchair, people who have a, not you, Sister Ali, because Ali, you hop in and go anywhere. Hill, gully, anywhere, you hop in and go. So we ain't talking about you, Ali, right? But there are many others who are not as able, and we have to ensure that they are able to have continuous access to their community and community activities. Already, we had lands allocated. Lands were already allocated for the best. No, let me walk about before I get into trouble, because I'm going Monks in George District after. To one of the best single pan sides in the country, Mr. Steve Jack and team. Now that lands were allocated, the next step must be to get them a home, to get them a pan tent worthy of their fame in this area, to get that for them. Because PAN has a way of mobilizing young people, keeping them off the streets. You see others practice this, PAN? All now, after midnight, they're still there jamming tune, trying to get it. There are the crack shots coming from all over, trying to learn the tune. And it's about how we keep our young people productively engaged so they don't get themselves in trouble. We have to also ensure that beyond PAN, that we down at the Pembroke area, we have to go and do some remedial work up at Eastside. Because Eastside is also one of our top PAN sides, small band side. I'm being very careful tonight. Right? Very, very careful. But I love Eastside because a lot of my former students, a lot of my high school players, they play with Eastside. And so the remedial work that is required will not just help Eastside, but it helps the schools around who have their children playing with the PAN side, the community side, and playing for the school. The Police Club in Roxborough also has a PAN side that benefits from Eastside doing well. And so we have to give them the support. PAN cannot be seen as old noise. PAN, the days when PAN is old noise, the days when PAN is to Bajon, those days gone. PAN beating in church and all. Churches are PAN side. People playing PAN to the glory of God. So we have to get past the stereotypes of PAN. This is our national instrument that we claim we are proud of. And if we're proud of it, then we have to engage the youngsters who are involved in in these institutions and give them the support. Finally, I want to talk specially to my family and friends in Belle Garden and in particular Zion Hill. Sometimes we don't know what we have. And sometimes a prophet don't get honor in his own country. The Bible said that. Sometimes our own start to second guess us. And I don't want nobody from Belle Garden and Zion Hill second guessing whether they should go out to vote or not. That should not even be a question. It should not even be a question. This was essentially Dr. Brebnor's first term elected, full term elected. Dr. Brebnor was a counselor for the first 4 years. I could tell you, as a counselor, Dr. Brebnor, who used to be an advisor in health, was no longer an advisor in health. For 4 years, her salary was under 8,000 after they take out the taxes for 4 years straight. 4 years straight. She lost the first time by a handful of votes. 5 votes. Not even 2 handful, 1 handful. And then, at the second time when she won, it was 6-6. In January 2021, it was 6-6. So this is Dr. Brebnor's real first term as an area representative. Not even a second. And the way she worked when she was a counselor, when she had no rank, she had no office, she had nothing, no support, and you saw how she worked. Dr. Brebnor deserves a second term from you. And I want to say something else too. Because with all the work that giving out, because people saying, I want a job, I don't go a single place where I don't get more than 10 people asking for a job. The truth is, there's no way Dr. Brebnor could hire everybody she wants to hire at the same time. And the reason we vote must go beyond that. Because you may not get the job, but who is doing the best for our schools? You may not get the job, but who is doing the best for our health care? You may not get the job, but who is doing the best for food security on the island? You may not get the job, but who is doing the best for our fishermen on the island? You may not get the job, but who is doing the best for community development and community cohesion? And I'm saying the political organization that has done the best, where 4 years could beat 21 years going and coming, is the Tobago People's Party. And that's why I'm saying we are going to rally behind Dr. Brebnor. We are going to pull our families out. We are going to come down the road on Monday morning, bright and early, and we are going to register our vote for the anchor. Whether you're voting by the primary school or the Pantent or by the community center, wherever you are voting, there is one place you are going to put your vote. And Dr. Brebnor showed you tonight, it's at the top of the ballot form. So even if you have visual challenges, and you could only have visual challenges because you didn't want to tell Dr. Faith the cataract acting up, because should I get a cataract fixed long time, you just know you're stamping by the first person on the ballot paper in this electoral district. Our vote is with Dr. Faith Brebnor. And so in this election, we're not playing for slips. I showed you firstly how they're deceitful. After I told you we ain't own the land, they come back, see the private owners put up their own sign and say, look, Farley and them had to have sold the land. Deceit. I told you about how we're going to develop this area, particularly for sport, young people, and recreational purposes. I told you why you must give Dr. Brebnor another chance in office. And the only thing that is left for us to do is to ensure that after we come home from the motorcade Sunday night or Monday morning, you should bathe one time, go to bed, get up, brush your teeth, and head out to the polling station. Because if you are from Parlatuvier, Lansum, Speyside, the name on the ballot paper is Farley, Chavez, Augustine. If you are from Roxborough, Argyle, the name on the ballot paper is Mr. Orlando Kerr. If you are from Belle, Glamorgan, the name on the ballot paper is Dr. Faith Brebnor. If you are from Mount St. George, Goodwood, the name on the ballot paper is Megan C. Morrison. If you are from Scarborough, Mount Grace, the name on the paper is Trevor Williamson James. If you are from Mason Hall, South Bagatelle, the name on the ballot paper will be Natisha Raya. The name on the ballot paper will be the one and only Ian Whitey Pollard. If you are from Darrell Spring Wim, I want your seat to come in first. Darrell Spring Wim, I want your seat to come in first. So the minority defeat at the end of the night. So Darrell Spring Wim, I want your votes to come in first. I want your seat come first. Ricky Joe Field, Darrell Spring Wim. If you are from Signal Hill, Patience Hill, your candidate of choice is Nigel Tate. If you are from Lambo Lowlands, your candidate of choice is Wayne Wasp Clark. If you are from Bonaccord, Crum Point, show them no mercy, Nikita Percy. If you are from Boko, Mount Pleasant, and I forget to tell you the reason why the propagandists and them trying to tell so much lies in that Boko area is because they know the seat. If you are from Plymouth, Blackrock, then there's only one person to vote for, and that is Mr. Kerr Alexis. If you are from Bethel, New Grange, Bethel people, be coming up Egypt Junction later this week. It's going to be fire up Egypt Junction. Bethel, we are voting for Darren Henry. And finally, they could bring all kind of big contractor money if they want. They're still taking licks in Bethesda, Lekoto with Miss Zorisha Amina Hackett. And there you have it, brothers and sisters, comrades all. The Tobago People's Party, 15 seats, 15 seats, 15 seats, all 15 seats, every single one of them for the party that is blue and true. Thank you. God bless you. See you across.